Hey people, Injured here, 1v1, Ashes of Typhon on the blue side. We've got manonmars as a warp spreader Exarch, teleporting commander that fights range combat by default, lots of great capping and harassing with some awesome control abilities too. And on the red side is Dandalus as a chaos sorcerer, offensive and disruptive commander, lots of great manipulation and control abilities, has some pretty good offense too, can be quite killy early on. Ashes of Typhon, contested VP over on the eastern edge. We have the two naturals on the west side and these two weird kind of semi-natural power points over on the eastern edge. Decent map for rangers, I think, because this eastern side is quite open for them to fire away, and I think in terms of build orders, Dandalus is going to want to wait. I think against Eldar as chaos you want to wait to see what they get a little bit, because if you rush into havocs and they get double rangers, that's pretty painful. So he might just wait to see what comes out from manonmars, who does have a Howling Banshee squad up, and Dandalus going for the double heretics with a CSM squad opening to give him that flexibility early on and a bit of map presence too. Kill Sorcerer's finished capping on that side. Where's he going to go now? Nope, he's not going to go down the western side. You'll often see the players dedicating one of their units or a couple of the units perhaps to patrolling that west side and putting pressure on the natural VP. We might see manonmars just use his warp spreader Exarch for that. As you see, he's teleporting up to decap it now. Dandalus should have what he needs to push this east side and force off, maybe get some kills. Double heretics flying into those banshees is not good for those banshees, especially with Chaos Space Marines firing as well. Sorcerer is roaming mid. It's a Guardian weapon team on the way for manonmars. They begin with a shuriken platform, so that will be suppressing this big blob of chaos stuff. Already gone for Eternal War, Dandalus, so we might see the vestments of the warp in response, or maybe just Sigil off the Rift to be really annoying. 492, 481 early on, jockeying for position. Banshees thinking about going after those double heretics, but deciding against it. They do have their aspect of strength, so the aspect is up before they even engage. And we might see the battle equipment, because double melee heretics running into a plasma grenade would be pretty bad for them. Dandalus taking back his natural VP, but look how annoying this warp spider Exarch is. And if we see some web gates as well, this could be quite bad for Dandalus, who needs to make a decision about where he's going to push here. For some reason he did not push the east side. Could have gone harass the power early on, I think. He must have thought that manonmars had another unit on the field, but he hasn't. He only had the two, and now he's gone double Guardian weapon teams, so maybe some Raptors from Dandalus, who's gone for another CSM squad. So he's got a pretty solid fighting army here, but if he meets any kind of suppression, he's going to be in trouble. manonmars cancelling the second Guardian weapon team. And there's the triple cap from manonmars. Dandalus worshipping Tzeentch over on this east side, using that infiltration to get close to the shuriken. He's out of range now though of that worship, but has forced them off, so nicely done. Didn't need to buy anything else, just use your Tzeentch worship. Hasn't even bothered taking this power point. We have not actually seen a fight yet. Here we go, finally. Banshees chasing off the Sorcerer, who completely misses with his Doom Bolts, and now power harass. Dandalus, I think, should have been a lot more aggressive early on. He may have thought that there was another unit on the field, but you've got to push and see. Wow, Dire Avengers getting absolutely melted there under double CSM fire though, and he's going to lose the squad. 492, 378 does not lose the squad. Big mistake from Dandalus. That should be that. No, they have no right to still be existing. 14 hit points. Why did he not force melee combat on them? And he loses his heretics. Terrible engagement for Dandalus in the end. Now Banshee's chasing down CSM. Here come heretics to save them. Some special attacks going off. Really sloppy, I think, from both players here. He's going to lose his Banshees, is he? Yes, he does lose his Banshees. Incredibly sloppy engagement from both players. 492, 356. Began with Dandalus not finishing off that Dire Avenger squad. Then Dandalus lost the squad himself, and then manonmars crazily losing his Banshees there. Why did he run them in with heretics on their way? Did he not see them because of these rocky outcrops? 492, 346. Howling Banshees are replaced. Where's that Shuriken Cannon now? Over on the east side, capping in fact. Double CSM still in the field, and they will flank around and start shooting the crap out of this. Shuriken might want to force melee with one of the squads so it doesn't set up. Looks like he's forcing melee with both of them. He's splitting his forces and does manage to get into combat, and oh, he did lose a model. Forces off that Guardian Weapon team and takes up the cap on the east side, so he's going to get 2-1 here. Dandalus. Sorcerer taking his natural back. No war gear for, oh, we do see 2 pieces of war gear up on the Warp Spear Exarch. Heavy Gauge Death Spinner to try and control that Sorcerer while trying to do some sneaky, tricky stuff and improve targeters also. So this guy's going to be pretty dangerous in combat now. That Heavy Gauge Filament does crazy damage to a single model. Might be able to kind of snipe a CSM model with it, a very slow snipe. And sets up the Banshees running in, of course, as well. Dire Avengers do have their aspect. And Chaos Raptors on the field, jump troops with chainswords and bolt pistols. They will suppress enemy units when they land. And look how blue the map is getting here. Dandalus needs to spread and cap and shoot stuff. Much easier said than done against this Warp Spider though. He just kind of effortlessly even, capped up the map here. Howling Banshees already have their Exarch queued up for tier 2. 482, 303. Dandalus has some VPs to make up. Looks like he's going to settle down and try and hold this east side. Raptors moving up. manonmars has not seen them yet. They are infiltrated also. And there's the jump. A very late jump. And he had his CSM there sitting in fire. Exarch forced off. Banshees are being focus fired while the Raptors chase the Shuriken, and a pretty easy victory there. Surprised manonmars kept the Banshees in play. As soon as all of the CSM and stuff came out of the worship, I would have just retreated them out. But he wanted to hold up this power harass, of course. 482, 288, but he is going to lose at least 2 gens, you would think. What is CSM doing? Oh, they're trying to find the web brigade. There we go. Sorcerer meanwhile pushing up the western side, capping things up. And manonmars with a Wraithlord on the way. That is painful. Might need to just avoid this guy for the time being. Then get some Havocs up in tier 2 with a las cannon. 469, 288, some fire dragons perhaps. See that suppression on landing. So useful. manonmars caught blobbed up a little bit there. Now the CSM need to run away. There we go. So we're going to stand there while Banshees run in on them. Retreat grenade attempted, but was way too far behind. 457, 288. The Wraithlord is on the field. Melee walker for the Eldar faction. They can get a shoulder mounted range weapon, and they will retain all of their melee effectiveness with that shoulder mounted weapon. So they are pretty strong in that regard. Seen as a strong walker at the moment in the current meta. And it's Plague Marines for Dandalus. That's a mistake, I think, because he can just teleport in with his Warp Spear Exarch and tie them up, or just run his Banshees in, which would be a bit more risky since they explode when they die. And even if he doesn't, Plague Marines by themselves don't really have the damage to take a walker out or threaten it too much before it gets into combat. He will have the aspiring champion for the Raptors, so we will see. This will be interesting to see how Plague Marines and Raptors do against a melee resistance walker. 440, 283, the Wraithlord beginning with 1200 hit points. Banshee's getting stuck on him, unable to move, and this is, wow, look how far manonmars has pushed his stuff up. This is a big commitment from him, and it did not pay off at all. Not sure why he felt the need to chase there. Now the Wraithlord is in trouble. Heavy gauge filament on the Raptors there, knocking down, was that aspiring champion? I assume he wanted to do so. You see that melter pistol getting shots in. The Plague Marines not really able to catch up. He should have got them moving much earlier. The Wraithlord should be okay, but that was a massive risk from manonmars. And if he had a las cannon instead there, that might have been a dead Wraithlord. 440, 253. Tier 3 for manonmars. Wraithlord gets down to around about half hit points, almost exactly. He's regenerating health. What? Is that what Wraithlords do? Seriously? I honestly had no idea that Wraithlords naturally regenerated their health. 442, 43. Guardian Weapon team in trouble. Raptors finish them off, and that is a big loss for manonmars. He now has absolutely no way to control these double CSM from pouring in that bolt of fire, and the Banshees are going to wipe. Oh, they know the Raptors do not get a hit. Did not shoot with the Plague Marines either. They were chasing down this Wraithlord. But yeah, I had absolutely no idea that Wraithlord naturally regenerates health. Power's going to go down completely. 2-to-1 cap for manonmars still, and look at this, taking the opportunity just to push his Dire Avengers up the west side and take things. It's a 2-to-1, but Dandalus just had a very good engagement and now has a pretty strong standing army. And the Wraithlord is being controlled pretty well as it stands by a single Plague Marine squad. Hasn't really been able to get in there and cause trouble. I think he needs to be a lot quicker on tying up those Plague Marines with his Warp Spider. Maybe wait for the Raptors to engage, because he doesn't want the Raptors to counter-initiate the Warp Spider Exarch with Demonic Strength, special attack as well. He can send him flying, do a bunch of damage. The Heretics eating a grenade, as you saw. 440, 203. Chaos Dreadnought on the way for Dandalus. Maybe a Marker Tzeentch one to make short work of this Wraithlord, really, with those Plague Marines and stuff helping out. Chaos Sorcerer is going to go down. Banshee's catching him, just not paying attention there. Dandalus, he's spread out and started capping stuff instead. Still hasn't taken back this natural wreck point though. And the Chaos Dreadnought is almost up. That is a big decision for Dandalus to go for this guy instead of thinking about tier 3. Big decision. Maybe he'll just keep it with the autocannon for now. Autocannon, Plague Marines and Raptors chasing out a Wraithlord should be enough to deal with it, you would think. Wraithlord coming back out of base and now has the Wraith Bone, which allows him to regenerate health rapidly. 398, 203. Raptors behind cover there, thinking about maybe jumping on some squishy Eldar and chopping it to bits. Again, Dandalus backing away from this east side, sending his entire army to deal with these Banshees. I suppose he has to, unless he just sends the Dreadnought. Everything else will just get chopped to pieces 1v1, you would think. 398, 191. Banshees forced off, and there's the double cap for manonmars. He needs to cap this east side. There's nothing here, and he doesn't. Is he going to take this wreck point back? Nope. Now he's got this big fighting force and wants to just take Dandalus on head on and get at least one squad wipe. I would think D-Cannon now coming up for manonmars. And that could be really dangerous if he gets a nice singularity on the blob of double CSM and Plague Marines. Raptors, that's a prime target for the Raptors, you would think. Setting up here, look at the range that D-Cannon has. 398, 155. Was not expecting a D-Cannon whatsoever. Was expecting a Fire Prism. Tried to keep it at maximum range, and he's going to lose the D-Cannon immediately here. No, he gets away. Raptors now turn to engage the Wraithlord, and look at that big splash damage. Good grief, 130 damage per hit, I believe it is. The Wraithlord goes down. Sorry, the Warp Spider Exarch goes down. Wraithlord is still going. 391, 154. Now the Chaos Dreadnought forcing melee combat. The Wraithlord trying to chase down those Plague Marines who are going to try and turn and get in a sneaky missile fire, I think. Wraithlord's in trouble. Surely this Wraithlord is done for here. Dreadnought chasing it down. Their piercing damage blinking off its armor. That's a special attack. He should have turned and fired there. 372, 154. He does get a shot off right in melee range there, basically. Plague Marines survive with single model, and manonmars, I don't think he... Maybe Seer Council would have been pretty damn good for him. Out in tier 3. 346, 154. I think he's afraid of getting a Fire Prisoner because of those Plague Marines and that Dreadnought. Heretics sweeping around, and he still has not taken this natural wreck point back. This one's been taken as well. 321, 154 manonmars with some big wreck income. He de-grenaded himself there. That was good. Heretics with an aspiring champion now popping up and going after these Banshees. Howling Banshees should win this fight with Dar Avenger help, and they use Embolden, and down go the Heretics. That was poor decision by Dandalus. No reason to lose his Heretics like that, especially since he just purchased the aspiring champion, which is not cheap. 25 power for that guy. Raptors jumping in behind the Dire Avengers so we can catch them as they retreat out, but only took one model. That's pretty unlucky. Needs to cap that east side. It's got the double, could get the triple. What is this though? The Sorcerer went down to heavy gauge filament, I would think. Or is he still down over there? No, he must have capped it, that's why he's there. 250, 154. The cannon been more of a liability than anything so far for manonmars. He's got a lot of resources. Is he saving for an avatar? Or is he want a Seer Council? How much is Seer Council now? I think they're only 100 power. 224, 154. B cannon, and there's a phase shift. He's trying to set up a nuke. He doesn't have a nuke. Right, he's setting up a singularity. 207, 154. Howling Banshees running in, nice singularity. Kills only a single Raptor, I think. Did he get a CSM model as well? Might have. We have a Marco Tzeentch Chaos Dreadnought, that's surprising. Wait for the next vehicle before you get that, I think, and he uses the warp to get it out of trouble. Switched over to the other flank. 182, 154. That's one of the global abilities of the Chaos Sorcerer. So both of the commanders are down now, and Dandalus has a bunch of power. And is he? I think he should go tier 3, because if he starts losing stuff, he can respond with Chaos Terminators or something. manonmars floating like absolute mad. Obviously now saving for an avatar. It's a risky way to go. Really big, scary combat unit, but Dandalus could try and just outmaneuver that guy, and he's still not capped this wreck point. 176, 151. Maybe he has been capping it, he just keeps decapping it. Is Markov Korn Chaos Space Marines now. 2 of them. And he's just going to try and run through manonmars' stuff. Suppose he doesn't want them sitting at range taking shots from the D cannon. He's sending one of them down the west side, and they will easily chop up those Dire Avengers. Just need to be careful dodging defensive grenades. 176, 133. Jumps in on the D cannon, immediately forcing it off, achieving nothing in that engagement in the D cannon. And here comes the avatar for manonmars. Has he made the right idea here? The Marco Tzeentch Dreadnought will do some decent damage. Marco Tzeentch CSM would have done a lot of damage, of course, to the avatar. But now he needs to engage it in melee, which is a lot scarier to do. manonmars going to lose his power. Dandalus in a fantastic position here. Really is his game to lose, and it's tier 3 on the way for him, and he has enough for a nuke. Putting some web gates up is manonmars. Kind of telegraph this one, it's been spotted already. 165, 120. Plague Marine trying to get close enough to shoot it. There we go. And down it goes immediately, and it gives a big bunch of XP now to web brigades. CSM capping for the triple for Dandalus. manonmars making some questionable decisions in tier 3. I think we'll see if it ends up biting him in the arse. That's a singularity which won't affect the Dreadnought, but does pull in those Plague Marines, and didn't do a whole lot to them either. Raptor jumps on the D cannon, down it goes. That is GG. Surely He can't come back just with an Avatar and Banshees and Dar Avengers capping. Plague Marines forced off, exploding in the face of those Banshees, which are level 3, and it's a full retreat from Dandalus. Knee-jerk response maybe to seeing the Avatar, but he does pull out completely. 85, 120, triple cap. It's a cap very quickly here. manonmars. You see that passive area of effect buff from the Avatar affecting those Banshees, and it has some decent range to it from the looks of it. He's gonna Wailing Doom the generators. And that's one way to use it. 59, 120. Needs some VPs. Does get the east contested, and he's spreading out to cap the other two as well. This is gonna be close because Dandalus needs to manage avoiding this Avatar, or does he engage it, or does he just spread out and cap? Because Banshee's catching something isolated is going to be bad. 46, 116. There's phase shift on the CSM just to stop them from capping, but the Raptors are there. Oh, he's nuked. That could be really, really bad for Dandalus. He threw all of his Marines in on that. Raptors get away with a single model, so do the CSM, so do both of the CSM. In fact, wow. If they weren't leveled, that would have wiped all of them. 46.90. It's a double cap for manonmars. Just when I said Dandalus has it in the bag, manonmars has the double, and Dandalus is forced off of big reinforcement costs. He's gonna have to save his nuke to stop a cap here, I think. Energy shield on the east side. Avatar there to make sure nothing tries to cap it. No, you should keep him over there, I think. Is he moving him? No, he's keeping him there. Banshee is guarding a natural. He's going to try to see this out with a 2-to-1. 46-52. Where is the 2-to-1? There it is. Dandalus is not reinforcing his stuff. What is he doing? Oh, he's calling in Chaos Terminators somewhere. Where are they? That's a massive, massive risk. Banshees are right there. He was able to call them in here because he has line of sight from his fallen Chaos Sorcerer. 46-35. And another massive, massive call. He's decided not to reinforce anything and get Chaos Terminators instead. And how much they're really going to help him out there. Those Banshees at level 4 are going to rip him to shreds without their lightning claws. And he doesn't have any worship support either. 46-21, setting up the Wailing Doom with a phase shift, but completely mistimes it and doesn't actually hit the Chaos Terminators. There's the demonic summoning called in, and that allows these Chaos Terminators to reinforce until it's over anyway. 46-10, it's the 2-to-1 for manonmars. Looks like he's got this. Looks like he has got this. Chaos Terminators just have to run away. It's a really bad choice. Unless he could instantly get them lightning claws, I think that was a really bad choice. And there's the victory from manonmars. He takes it. A strange one, wasn't it? Not the highest level game we've ever seen. Some mistakes early on with squad losses left and right. manonmars, he teched up quickly, didn't he? And that saved him, I think. He got another D-cannon. The first one did absolutely nothing. So the Avatar, in the end, Dandalus just seemed completely bewildered by the Avatar and just ran away from it. Got hit by the nuke, which is really pretty unlucky for him. Nothing he could do about it once he's phase shifted, really. And he didn't reinforce his stuff. Instead, get on Terminators, which did absolutely nothing. Banshee's easily able to deal with them all by themselves and throw the Avatar melee in there. And was not a good choice, I don't think. A tank would have been much better. Or just reinforce your stuff, get back out and cap. Let's look at the commanders, end of the game. Level 5, Warp Spreader Exarch, Heavy Gauge Death Spinner, Phase Armor that we saw used a few times. And improved targeters. The Sorcerer was still level 1 and was down for ages. 46 VPs remaining, there it is. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.